Hello. So today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the Trekforce Expedition Leader Program. I'm just going to try and offer a little bit more insight into the course and hopefully give you a bit of an idea of what life after the course might be like. So first of all, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself and why I chose to do the course. So after I left school in 2015, I went on a number of trips. I was quite a keen outdoorsman. And after a couple of years of traveling and sort of going on outdoor adventures and things like that, I decided that I wanted to make a career out of this and try and get my foot in the door into the outdoor industry. Um, After doing a bit of research, I came to the conclusion that I thought the Trekforce Expedition Leader Program would be the best way for me to get into the industry. And so last year in October, I signed up to the course and headed off. Since then, I've been working as an expedition leader with Gapforce, and I'm looking forward to going on a number of trips in the future with them and really enjoying the benefits I've enjoyed from finishing the course. And I'm really glad that I went on it. So, starting with the course itself, who is the course for? So, the course is really for anyone who has a passion for the outdoors, for adventure, for travel. You really have people from all backgrounds and ages. On my course, we had people from over 10 countries, aging from 18 to their mid-30s. They're really from all walks of life. We had some engineers, barmen, paramedics, adventurers, all sorts really. So the course really is for anyone who is looking to make a career out of this or just wants to have a fantastic adventure and really learn a lot of leadership and outdoor skills. So on to preparation for the course. As you may have gauged already and as you'll learn in this presentation, the course is pretty physically demanding. So a big aspect of your preparation will be your fitness and getting physically ready for the challenges of the course. So to do this, I would recommend a number of things. First of all, walking, especially with a weighted backpack, is really good. It's going to just get you used to carrying the weight and also just get your legs up to the level of fitness and strength that they'll need to carry the kind of loads and backpacks that you'll be carrying during the course. Cycling is also another good way to get your strength of your legs up and the strength of your core. And if you don't have access to mountains or hills, it's a really good way of just recreating that sort of environment and that sort of stress on your legs. So I would, recommend cycling. Also, swimming is a very important aspect of your preparation, as during the course you will be conducting some of your training in the water. You will be required to have a good level of swimming in order to do well in certain aspects of the course. So it's really important that you get your swimming up to scratch and get used to swimming to give yourself the best chance of succeeding on the course. Also, getting all of your kit together is really, really important. I would say the sooner the better, really, but you want to have your stuff all together really at least 2 weeks before you start the course. This way you can try out all of your equipment and get used to all of it with enough time to replace anything if you're not happy with it. As once you start the course, it's going to be very difficult for you to replace certain aspects of your equipment. Trying out kit is important, as I've just mentioned, but in particular, you need to make sure you try out your sleeping system. So by that, I mean your sleeping bag, your hammock, your basher, anything like that. You really need to make sure it fits and that it works properly so that once you arrive in the jungle on the course, it's all going to work properly, as it will be very difficult to replace these things once you've started the course itself. Finally, it's really important to wear in your boots, as the last thing you want is once you start the course to be worrying about blisters and uncomfortable shoes and things like that. So I'd recommend getting your boots at least 2 months before, wearing them around the house, wearing them on some walks, things like that, just getting them nicely loosened up and comfortable for the beginning of the course. So destinations on the course. There are 3 main destinations that you'll be heading to on the course. So the first is Wales in the UK. in particular Snowdonia National Park, which you can see some pictures of there. And then after that, you'll be heading over to South America, where you'll be heading to Costa Rica, but also Nicaragua. You can see some pictures of the fantastic locations and scenery that you'll be experiencing once you're out there. So who will be teaching you on the course? The course has two main instructors, which are Mike and Elliot, which you can see some photos of here. They're both very experienced adventurers, absolute jungle fanatics, and you're going to learn a great deal from them in your time out there. They're also very approachable and good at what they do, and you'll really enjoy just spending time with them. And as I said, you'll learn a lot from them and from the experiences that they've had. The other instructor on the course is Jade. She is going to be giving you the majority of your medical training. She's also a very experienced expedition leader, and you'll learn a lot from her, not just from the medical side, but also in a number of other areas. So what is life like on the course? As you'll learn pretty quickly on the course, there's really no such thing as a typical day. But just to give you a bit of an idea of what a day might look like, I'll just walk you through an average day in the jungle, let's say. So what you might expect is to get up around 7 o'clock in the morning, have some breakfast around the fire, followed by some morning lessons or activities which might involve survival skills or perhaps learning some soft skills like presentations, things like that. You'll then probably have a lunch at the middle of the day, followed by some more lessons or activities in the afternoon, at which point you'll have dinner in the evening, perhaps play some games around the campfire, debrief a little bit about what you've learned that day, or plan things for future days. The other main aspect of your life structure in the jungle is going to be your leadership days. So one way in which people on the course get the opportunity to develop their leadership skills is by effectively taking in turns each day for someone in the camp to be the leader of the group. So that will involve that person organizing all of the timings of the day, the structure of the day, managing the group, the food, and making sure that everything runs smoothly. It just gets you used to the kind of responsibilities you'll be taking on once you do go on to lead trips, if you choose to do so after the course. The other thing to talk about is town days. So you will be spending the majority of your time on the course in the jungle, but around about 1 or 2 days a week, give or take, you will be heading out into town to recharge your batteries, rest up, get more food and supplies, and just get everything ready for the next aspect of the course, wherever that may be. Finally, just to talk a little bit about food and rations. All the food that we eat in the jungle is basically organized and brought in by the group itself. Each time you head into the jungle and in each phase of the course, it will be a new person's responsibility to plan and organize all the food and equipment needed for that stretch of the trip. So it might be that you're given a 7-day period in the jungle in which you need to plan all the meals and all the rations and all the equipment for the group, however many of you there may be, for that given period of time. It's just a really good way of getting you used to the kind of requirements, not just in terms of food, but also equipment for a group for a given length of time, and get used to you planning those out so that after the course, if you choose to run trips yourself, you are used to that and you've done it before. You can see some pictures here of us laying out some of the food and some of the meal times, and it is good fun. And the camp atmosphere during the days is always good fun and enjoyable. So on to the course structure itself. You'll start the course, as I mentioned, in Wales in the UK. You can see some pictures here of Snowdonia National Park, which really is absolutely stunning and paradise for anyone who loves the outdoors. While you're in Wales, you'll basically be doing two main things. One is your orientation and compass work, just getting used to navigating and leading and using compasses, etc., etc. You'll also be doing some qualifications. So the two main qualifications that I've listed here are the activity first aid course, which is very important if you want to go on to be a leader, and also your mountain leader training, which is basically the UK requirement to lead trips in the outdoors, and it would just give you the requirements and the skills needed to lead groups in a mountainous environment, similar to that of the UK. So once you've finished that aspect of the course, you'll then head out to South America, in particular to Costa Rica initially. That's where you'll conduct your basic jungle training. So that is around about 10 to 12 days of basically jungle living skills and camp setup, survival techniques, learning about the wildlife and the nature of your environment, and just getting you used to looking after yourself and other people in the jungle environment and learning how to live happily and comfortably in this environment. So you'll be learning a lot of useful stuff, in particular things like starting fires, cooking in the jungle, fishing perhaps, setting up bashes, organizing toilets and bathrooms, and running things generally in that sort of environment. So upon finishing your basic jungle training, you'll then go on to start your jungle trek. So this is usually 6 to 7 days of trekking. It's pretty physically challenging, but you will go through some fantastic environments and see some amazing scenery, some of which you can see in the photos I've uploaded here of my jungle trek. It's also a fantastic leadership opportunity, as it will basically give you an opportunity to manage a group during a challenging, difficult day. And essentially on the jungle trek, each day you're going to be swapping over, as I mentioned, to a different leader. So you should all get the opportunity to lead during the trek. And as I said, it will be a brilliant experience for you, so that then when you go on to lead treks or outdoor trips after the course, should you choose to do so, you will have already had some experience leading in that sort of environment or that sort of day activity, etc. So upon completing the trek, you'll then go on to start your teaching. So this is really about putting what you've learned and the skills you've learned while being in the jungle and on the course into practice. It's your first real life leadership opportunity. So during the teaching phase, you will actually have some real clients coming into the jungle, into camp, where you will be teaching them a number of skills and activities that you've conducted and learned during the course already. And it'll basically just give you the opportunity to run a camp with real clients and get used to the kind of experience that you'll be having and the kind of skills you need to be able to look after, but also entertain and teach a group of young people that might be on trips that you go on to lead in the future. You will also be assessed and be given feedback and improvement points during this phase, so that you can go on to continue progressing after this stage of the course. So upon completing the teaching aspect, you'll then begin your expedition medicine training, which will be conducted by Jade. As you can see, so the pictures here, some of it is pretty realistic. And the idea really is to try and put you in the exact same situation that you might one day find yourself should something go wrong on one of your trips. So basically the course consists of 2 parts, one being the theoretical side, which you'll be learning a wide range of medical skills, knowledge, and practices that you need to look after people safely in the jungle and prevent them from coming to harm. You will also then take part and lead a number of evacuations, taking it in turns to be the leader for each one. And there'll be a number of day and nighttime medical scenarios, some of which you can see in the pictures here. And it'll just get you used to managing a team and running an evacuation safely, so that if you should have to do it one day, you have the skills necessary to do that. So upon completing the expedition medicine training, you will then go on to begin your rivers training. So this basically involves, first of all, learning some advanced river crossings techniques. This will involve using ropes, as you can see in some of the pictures here, using a number of different techniques for different types of river, styles of running water, different hazards, etc. And just getting you used to and comfortable with conducting and leading river crossings. You'll then go on to learn more the river rescue side of things. So that will involve using some throw bags, which you can see in the pictures here, but also conducting some swimming rescues of unconscious swimmers or frightened swimmers or people that are struggling against the current, so that should you ever have to, you've got the skills necessary to do that. You will also, during this part, gain your RLSS Water Safety Management qualification, which is important qualification if you want to go on to work for companies as an expedition leader, and it will be something that they'll require. So we'll make sure that you all get that during that aspect of the training. So upon completing that, you'll then go on to carry out your infamous solo belt survival, which essentially involves 3 days alone in the jungle by yourself, living in a shelter that you've built with minimal to no kit. So you'll be provided with the basic equipment that you need to survive, and it'll be up to you to build a suitable shelter and keep a fire going for your time there. And to put all the survival skills and jungle living skills that you've learned so far to the test. It's also just a really fantastic and unique opportunity to really just experience being sort of with the outdoors and really experiencing what it's like to be in a survival situation and to be completely away from normal life and the developed world. It's a really enjoyable experience, and I think it's something that everyone that goes on the course really enjoys and finds really rewarding. So after completing your 3-day survival belt kit phase, you will then go on to conduct some project management. So this is likely to happen in either Nicaragua or possibly Panama, depending on which course you go on and what is happening on that particular course you've chosen. But it will essentially involve working on a sort of fantastic, important volunteer project. You can see some pictures here of the project that I worked on, which involved constructing an eco resort in Nicaragua. It was in a fantastic location. The projects always are in a beautiful and fantastic location. And it just gives you a good bit of preparation and some management skills, so that after the course, if you go on to manage expeditions or courses where it involves going on projects and doing some volunteering on construction site, building sites, or just in outdoor environments, you've got the skills and you feel comfortable to do so, having done it already yourself. So after you've finished the project management side of things, it will then be time to go on your 10-day adventure course, your 10-day adventure trip, which will basically involve 8 days roughly of you planning your own trip, your own expedition, so that you get used to planning and organizing every aspect of an expedition that you need to do. Once you've all come up with your proposals for this 10-day adventure, the group as a whole will then decide on one trip to go on as a group to celebrate the end of the course and mark the end of your time in Costa Rica and Nicaragua. So this is also an assessed part of the course. So once you've planned your expedition, even though you may not choose to go onto your particular expedition, the planning aspect of it and the report that you may make will be assessed and looked at to just make sure that you've got the skills necessary to plan a trip of your own. Once that's been done, you will then go on this 10-day adventure. The first few days of that adventure will involve you all getting your feedback on how you've done on the course and the grades you received and what the future might possibly look like for you. After you've done that, the last few days of this 10-day adventure will just be you guys as a group celebrating completing the course and everything that you've achieved, and really just having fun and enjoying the end of your time together before heading home, where you'll begin the next part of your life, whatever you choose to do. So once you have completed the course and you're back in the UK or wherever you've come from, you'll be given later on a pack, which is basically known as the Gapforce Logbook. In that, it's going to consist basically of all of your certificates for the courses and accredited qualifications that you've received, as well as a skill sheet, which will just give any employer or anyone who's interested an idea of what skills you've learned or not learned, or what skills you've particularly done well at on the course, so that you can use that for later employment or just as a reference for any employer or people that might want to look at it, or if you indeed just want to see areas that you could improve on. So yeah, in that, it's basically your skills check sheet, your skills check sheet, your Gapforce certificates, your national recognized certificates, and also just the details of the course and what you've done over your time there. So just a little bit of advice for the course if you are thinking about going on it. First of all, it's a really good idea to learn Spanish. You will be learning Spanish on the course itself, and you will be taking lessons while you're out in Costa Rica and Nicaragua. But it's really good to learn a bit of Spanish before. It's going to help you just get really engrossed into the culture there, but also just in terms of running transport days or communicating with locals, it's going to make things a lot easier, and it's going to make your lessons out there in Spanish, learning Spanish, a lot easier if you've already developed a good basic knowledge of the language. So I'd recommend that to anyone who is really considering coming on the course. Secondly, I would also consider reading some books on leadership or expeditions, the outdoors, anything you think might be relevant to the course. Getting your mind and your mental state as ready possible for the course is really good, and it will help you just stay motivated and perhaps help highlight some of the qualities that you think you might need or you might want during the course in order to be successful. Another thing I'll mention is to buy quality kit. It's very difficult to replace anything once you're on the course, and it is a pretty demanding course physically. Your kit will get a lot of wear and tear, and it's really important that you buy quality stuff that's going to last, so that it can really serve you well while you're out there, and so that you don't have to buy insufficient replacements while you're out there. Finally, I'd just say really embrace every aspect of the course, really open up to all aspects of it and to the feedback that you get, so that you can really improve yourself, but also just enjoy as much of the course as you possibly can. And as I've said there, at the end, just really enjoy it. It really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it really can be a fantastic experience and help you in every aspect of your life, not just if you choose to go on to lead trips, but just generally. It can be applied, a lot of the skills that you learn can be applied to most aspects of your life. So a little bit more about what you might do after the course. So if you are successful and do well on the course, then you'll be invited to an interview with Gapforce. And if you're successful in the interview process, then you can go on to run and lead Gapforce trips as a freelance expedition leader, which is what I'm doing at the moment. And that is fantastically rewarding experience. Another great aspect of being a freelance expedition leader is that you can work as much or as little as you want, as you are your own boss. So if you want to take time off to pursue your own adventures or expeditions, you may do so and choose to work whenever it suits your own schedule. And as I just mentioned before, you can also apply your new skills to every aspect of your life, learning some of the soft skills like leadership, presentation skills, teamwork. And these are all things that whatever you go on to do in your life are really going to be beneficial and help you out. And finally, you can continue training after the course to achieve new goals. This course is really a sort of great opening to the world of the outdoors and outdoor qualifications. And it really opens your eyes to areas of the outdoors or expeditions that you find particularly interesting or enjoy, and you can continue to pursue more qualifications after the course to do trips and expeditions that might be more tailored to your interests and at a higher level, so that you can continue your career to reach high levels and whatever type of goals you want to achieve. So that's it for the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Please visit the website where you can find more information. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and if you choose to go on the course, I'm sure you'll have a fantastic time and get a lot out of it. Anyway, that's all from me. So thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.